NABN, New Africa Broadcast Network.
Hi, my name is Glenham. Welcome to New Africa Broadcasting Network. Welcome to Celebrity in Motion. There are good Nigerians and there are bad Nigerians. Today we're here to talk to a good Nigerian who has made an impact in society. In the area of health, in the area of entertainment, he is in the person of Oliver Mbamara, a great Nigerian making a great impact right here in the United States of America. Welcome to Celebrity in Motion as I go and knock on his door and take him on this journey as we move along. Come with us. Hi, Oliver. How you doing? Great. Good to have you. Welcome to Celebrity in Motion.
Oh, thank you.
I thought I should stop by today and talk to you. I've heard a lot of interesting things about you.
Really?
Yeah, let's take a ride.
Oh, good.
Welcome on board here on Celebrity in Motion. I'm here with Oliver Mbamara. As you all know, he's an actor, he's a writer, he's a poet, he's a publisher. Hey, he's also a lawyer. Quite interesting though. Welcome to Motion, Celebrity in Motion.
Thank you so much.
Well, I mean, it's a beautiful rainy day out here. I'm so privileged to have you on this program, Celebrity in Motion. Now, to jump straight into it, what are you, a lawyer, a poet, or, because I pretty much read your profile and I saw a whole lot of things. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, I just think I am an artist who happens to be a lawyer.
An artist who happens to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very interesting way to put it. Okay, but how did you get into showbiz?
Actually, it wasn't defined. It wasn't scripted. I got interested in theater right from when I was very little, kindergarten, if you would say. I was doing concerts, and as I grew, I had it at the back of my mind that I wanted to do something that has to do with entertainment.
Okay.
And even after I graduated as a lawyer, I continued with my trade in the entertainment and artistic area, and started writing books, scripts, poems, performing on stage. And when Nollywood became Nollywood, we also jumped on board to.
So that was prior to Nollywood.
Prior to Nollywood, yes.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Well, let's talk about your career as a lawyer. Being that you're a lawyer both here in the U.S. and in Nigeria, how are you treated in the courtroom?
Actually, the beautiful thing about law is that law is strictly about law. Of course, there are circumstances where maybe your background may play a role, but in most cases, the focus is on the law. When I was in Nigeria, of course, I practiced as a lawyer. Well, there isn't any problem with that because Nigerians are Nigerians. There is no issue of race or anything like that. It's what you know that tells who you are as a lawyer. When I got here, I was also fortunate to be working in an environment that doesn't actually emphasize race. If not, I wouldn't have been a judge if that was the case. But every once in a while, you get clients or appellants or people who have issues with
race.
With race, even if it's not declared, but you see the resentment in the fact that an immigrant of a darker skin color is adjudicating over a Caucasian in America.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Wow. Well, how long have you been practicing law before I get into the...
I was actually called to bar in 1990.
1990?
Yes.
That's a long time ago.
Yes. And I was, that's the Nigerian bar. I came to the US and I was called to bar in the US in 2000.
Administratively,
Yes.
knowing that, the law profession is the legal, practice is a very hectic, practice. How do you juggle that with entertainment and?
Very interesting, but I think basically it's all about sacrifice. You have to give up this to do this. 24 hours actually. Sometimes I usually would want more than 24 hours, but that's what it has to be. It has to be 24 hours a day. I would want more than 24 hours a day. Yeah.
Quite interesting.
But I don't think God will grant me that permission at this point. So I make do with 24 hours. But it's about sacrificing less sleep, less time for things that are not my focus. But that doesn't mean
for things that are not your focus.
Yes.
Now that is a profound statement.
But at the same time, I do. Some people read that to think that I don't have time to play. No, I do play. I do play. When I play hard, But
just like you work hard.
Yes,
you play hard. Okay. Well, viewers, we are with Oliver Mbamara, a Nigerian doing great things in the United States and, of course, all over the world. You are on Celebrity Emotion. When we come back, we will be talking to him about Nollywood. The if, the buts, the maybes, the do's, the don'ts, the possibilities, the impossibilities. You are watching Celebrity in Motion. We'll be right back. Let's talk about filmmaking and your filmmaking career. Now, tell me a bit about your filmmaking career.
Well, I haven't been into artistic works for a long time. As I grew, I was involved in plays, stage performances, and poetry and all that. And eventually, before the advent, or just about the advent of Nollywood, I started looking at turning some of these stories into films. And Nollywood came along, and it was an opportunity for me to also explore that aspect of my desire, which is telling stories through filmmaking.
Telling stories through filmmaking. Mm-hmm. And this started here in the United States, or?
Actually, I started in Nigeria, but it wasn't much, because that was just about when Nollywood was kicking off. But when I got to the US, I did a play off Broadway called Prisoner of Calacry. I played the lead role in that play. Then I did a few stage performances. And when a group of Nigerian actors came here in 2004, brought by a fan, some of them asked why we are not doing films here. So we thought of it and said, I had the story I was writing called Conflicts of an Immigrant, which was my experiences about the cultural conflicts as an immigrant between what the experiences of an immigrant here. We decided to turn it into a movie called This America, which is like a groundbreaking film in the Nollywood USA.
I saw that movie.
Thank you. Yeah. You liked it, I hope?
Yeah, great movie.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Right. Oh, I mean, the fact that you use non-Nollywood actors, does that affect your viewership or your patronage?
Yes and no. Yes, because, let me say no first. The reason is that in that movie, for instance, This America is the story of a typical African immigrant. And in Nollywood, there's what is called, especially in the Nollywood in the continent, back in the continent, there's what you call known faces. And there are some names that you mention and it's synonymous with.
Familiar.
Yes, And sometimes when you see a male person on the cover and the female person, you can tell, they will fall in love or they will have something to do with each other and all that. You can predict the movie. And that's something I don't just like. I don't like you predicting my work. I like to keep on twisting it to the end. But it's not something against anyone. It's just my trying to relate with the audience. If I'm telling a story about an African immigrant here, and I use a face that is based in Nigeria, to me it takes away something from the story.
Wow, that's very profound.
But when you tell the story and you're using a face that is not that familiar, because the story is in itself doesn't need that familiarity in terms of bringing out the story. It may actually distract from the reality of the story. I know we've done screenings here and people have actually thought it was a documentary. Now, if we had any of the known faces in that movie, they wouldn't think it's a documentary. They will ordinarily know it's a movie. But that's not to say that we don't also think that the known faces can be applicable in some cases. And that is where the yes comes in. That's where it affects the audience. There's a part of the audience that will pick up a movie just because a face is on it. And the sad part is that sometimes, regardless of the face that's on it, the story may not be that engaging. But before you know it, they already have the movie at home and they're watching and then they're complaining that this story is maybe not that good. Because of course these known faces are good actors. They are good, they've done good movies. So the tendency to pick up their work is there to think that you're going to enjoy the movie. But when you find out that the storyline doesn't tally with the face, it becomes an issue. So that's why we have to be careful. In some stories, you may need the face. If your audience is geared towards that audience that's always attracted to that face. But when the story you're trying to reach out, like this America, we were trying to reach out not just to the African audience, we're trying to reach out to Americans here, we're trying to reach out to African Americans, to Caucasians. And when we had the screenings here, we actually saw that play out because you had camps of people saying it's a documentary, this say no, it's based on real life, this is fiction, and that's what we wanted going, the discussion about the experiences of an immigrant here.
Oh wow, that's interesting. And that was the first movie you produced?
Yes.
Over here?
Yes, I co-produced it with my colleague, my longtime colleague, Beta Sagomo and Felix Noram. We started the trial thing to get the movie out, and after then, we went on to do other movies.
How did that movie do? Because considering piracy in the industry, I mean, how does that affect your sales and stuff?
Well, that movie, This America, like I had mentioned, is in a class of its own because it came out at a time when Africans weren't into movie making. Before This America, there has been maybe 2 or 3 other Africans who've done movies here. But This America was the major movie that got it going, and people now started saying, oh, we can do a movie. And after This America, a lot of Africans got on board and started doing movies. By the time we did This America, there weren't original movies here from Africa. They were mostly pirated copies that you will see, those flat ones that were very cheap. But after This America, other people started doing movies, and then we started having the issue of whether it's original or not. At the time we did This America, the choice was there. I mean, there was no choice. It's either you go and you get those movies, pirated copies, or you don't just watch any movie. But today, the choice is there. Now, there are lots of filmmakers, and most of these movies, you can find original copies.
Lots of them, yeah.
Yeah, and you can find some fake ones. So you can make a choice. When we did This America, there was no choice. This America was just the movie out there.
So you had no choice but to buy the original?
Yes, well, but people didn't get on to the original because they're still trying to adjust to the cost of the original, being that it's different and a little more expensive than the fake ones.
The funds being made available for the Nigerian movie industry, and what do you think of the whole thing?
That is the era of, which is still what's going on anyway. Is a situation of where filmmakers find it difficult to get funding for their movies. And they end up doing movies based on limited resources and limited funding. I, for one, I'm a civil servant. So, the movies I've done, I've never gotten any funding for them, never got any grant.
You fund them yourself?
I fund them myself from my little savings, from my little civil servant paycheck. And so also have many other filmmakers been doing, saving money here and there to do the movies. And it becomes interesting when people now sometimes criticize these movies or compare them side by side with Hollywood movies. Now, how do you compare a movie that was done with $200 million to a movie that was done with less than $20,000? Okay. $200 million and $20,000. People make that comparison. Oh, the sound is not good. Look at Hollywood movie. The this is there. The audio is there. The lighting is fine. The this is that. When are you going to improve? That's an aspect they don't understand. The other aspect is that this if you look at the history of Nollywood, nobody said, okay, let's start this industry, give them funding to go and do these movies. Nollywood was like, it was a surprise. Some business guys came together thinking of how to push their content. They said, we'll put some video on VHS and sell it and make money. That was how the whole thing started. Then we did the groundbreaking movie called Living in Bondage, and that was it. And it picked up from there. So eventually you find that funding has always been an issue. And it also has impacted the quality of the movies. But piracy also has been a very significant factor also that also impacted the quality, because sometimes the pirated copies take away from the original movies, and people see a pirated, poor quality of the work because it's pirated. The audio is not as good. Agreed, today there are studios that are now doing very good qualities, even though they are pirated ones. But in the past, they were usually bad. So we're always looking for fund.
Before you become a lawyer, you have to take an exam and pass a test. Do you have any formal training in filmmaking?
Oh yes. When I was in Nigeria, I did some courses in. Like I said, I started when I was very young. Naturally, it was just a natural thing for me. There wasn't, even when I was doing some courses, it was like I was just doing it for the sake of getting the paper, because everything anybody would want to teach me, I already had internalized in me, and it was like it comes out from inside. But in the world we are, of course, certificates matter, documents matter, so I've gone ahead to do some courses. Many years ago, I did a course on filmmaking. I graduated from the New York Film Academy, where I also did filmmaking. Yes, I have done a few courses here and there, but even after the courses, I always find that what I have inside me is actually what I usually rely on in my artistic expressions.
So it's definitely necessary to have some type of education for that industry.
It is because you got to understand that there are some people who, regardless of how talented you are as a person, will not give you credit unless they know that there is some sort of academic background to it. Some people also like to just hear you say, I have this certificate and I have that certificate. But that's not everyone. Some people actually want to see the kind of work that you can put out there. The substance of your work will speak for itself. But I would say, if you have an opportunity of going to school to learn any of these arts, please do. Because at least you walk away with an assurance that you're doing the right thing.
It gives you the edge.
That is what I felt about it when I was doing it. Whether I have to, at the end of the day anyway, you don't lose, because you probably work out one or two other things that you may not know before.
That's true.
Or you have a reassurance that you're doing this correctly, so go ahead and do it even more because the academicians think it's the right thing to do.
All right, Oliver, tell us, how many movies have you acted in, directed, produced, and what are you currently working on?
Actually, I haven't been keeping tabs on how many, but I would say movies that I've acted in, maybe over 10. Movies that I have produced or co-produced, maybe 7, 8. Movies that I have directed, I think about 4, 5 maybe. Yeah, 5 or 6, somewhere there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what are you currently working on? What's Oliver working on now?
Well, I'm working on a couple of things. One is we have the TV series, Cultures TV series, which is the TV series that we shot with the legendary Chief Zebediah, Chika Opala.
Are you looking for someone?
Yeah? I'm looking for Zobio, my nephew.
And who are you?
I am Chief Anabaronye. Chief Ugudinamba. Ake Uchonwa Mandoba. AAA. His honorable uncle from Nigeria. These are my flag. Are he in?
Uncle, is everyone okay?
Everyone are okay. But everyone, I think that you are not okay.
Come on, Uncle, that's bull.
Oh, you are calling me bull?
No, I mean...
You have begun to sound like them now.
Hilliard, a minute. Your house is mine. Even everything here, your wife is mine.
Don't go there now.
I know you are just like
Don't
me.
mess with my wife now.
I know you don't play with your wife. Even me too. You know me. I don't play with my Nancy. You know what I'm saying?
All right. I hope it's not serious.
Oh, serious? It's not serious at all.
Yeah? Okay now.
The problem is that my new wife is coming today. I have to rush down here because I need to borrow your car to go and pick her up at the airport.
Chief, this is Maria, my fiancée.
Yeah, my
No, my wife to be.
Yeah, Musisia.
Huh?
Who I told you that one? Have you lose your temperament brain?
So what happened? He left you?
No, I shot him.
It's abomination.
Please calm down. I'm hearing you don't have to shout.
I'm not shouting. I'm telling you what it is.
Uncle,
No, hold on.
Bring that.
It's royal magnet.
Please. Okay, tell me softly now.
I'm telling you that you should understand.
Chief, please take your bag, please. I have to leave now. My meter is running. My meter is running.
Sorry,
I have to leave.
What is
You have money, my friend?
These are honorable Nigerian notes, Naira notes.
What am I supposed to do with Naira in United States?
My financial independence is so important to me. And the good thing, I don't have to take crap from no man. Wait a minute, who got played?
Mr. Sobio, is this your wife?
Yes, yes.
Very, very marvelous. Very surprising.
I just did enjoy, see. Chief,
Eh?
good morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning, ma'am. Yeah, how are you? Which one are this one here? I'm seeing myself through there. Which one are this one? Okay. All right. Nevertheless.
You know what?
Just zip up your mouth.
To push for TV, and we are hoping that it gets picked up somewhere so that we can continue the series. We have 17 episodes all shot and ready to go, but we are ready to go beyond the 17 episodes.
You mean here in the U.S.?
We did it.
Or
We
worldwide?
shot it here in the U.S., but we are looking for market anywhere, whether it's here or in Nigeria, you know. And I mean broadcast. Okay, so we have released 1, 2, 3 episodes as a pilot to promote the other subsequent episodes. But we are ready to go on once that one gets picked up. We're still having negotiations going on. So if it gets picked up, we'll continue to do that. So that's one thing. We also have a movie version of the movie for the people who may want or prefer a movie version of it, which is called
Instead of the
TV series.
TV
yes.
series.
Yes, you know, it's the TV series about 7 hours together. You cut it down to about 2 hours as a story, as a movie story. Compressed. And the movie is called A Wife for Ozobio. We have that ready. We're gonna be putting out soon if people are interested in it as a movie. And but I am also working on another story, which is something something I feel I should do, which is in line with most of my films, because I pick on certain topics of what's going on in the society, especially in the immigrant community, and try to address certain things for the purpose of informing those who are not here, as well as about here, and then informing those who are not there, which is in the continent, about the continent if they are here.
Okay.
So my stories usually have a two-pronged face. You know, it's talking about, like, telling those who are in America about certain things that are going on in Nigeria, and telling those who are in Africa per se, or telling those in Africa about what's going on in America here. So there's a story I have now which is called Raised. Yes, it addresses the topic of children being raised here or raised in Nigeria.
Oh,
which
wow.
is a source of conflict between most of the parents that we have today. The choice as to whether we should raise the children in Nigeria or raise them in America, or do we have to agree on where to raise the children? Because I know that's caused a lot of friction for families. So that's we're working on it, putting it together. So hopefully we should be shooting it anytime soon.
Raised, wow.
And also, I'm also trying to put together the book, Slave Warrior, because some people here who saw the movie felt that it would be good to have it as a book so that the younger generations can pick it up, even if the movie is no longer available, so that they can be able to follow the story of the slave trade era. So the book, I'm also working on the book to get it completed very soon, if I will have the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you're working hard every day.
Trying to survive.
Wow. Well, speaking about, you know, the viability of the filmmaking industry as a whole, I mean, is this something viable? You know, can you make money out of this? You know, considering the fact that, you know, it's so much going on in the industry. Right? Can you really make, if somebody wants to invest in this, do they get their return? What are the risks involved? And, you know,
you can
how do you make your money?
Yeah, you can make your money back. There are people who do the movie as a business, the movie thing as a business. That's what they do. They don't have 9 to 5, but they are very, very minuscule. Maybe like, I would say roughly about 5%. The other 95% are always having something else that they're doing some 9 to 5 job, a regular job here, and then doing the movie as a second job.
To survive.
I'm a civil servant.
Keep saying that.
Of course. Everything I've done, I've always done outside my work hours, maybe weekends or vacations. Most of the movies I shoot in Nigeria or Africa, I do that with my vacation time. So I don't really have a vacation because I squeeze in the movie shoot within the vacation time. And I do other things like what we are doing now in the weekends. By Monday, I'm over with this, and then I'm in court and doing my stuff.
As a judge.
You know, but that has a limitation on how much I can make from the industry because I don't have all the time that it requires to really pursue it to that extent. That would not make me say you don't make money from it. But for me, the reason why I've always continued to do this is the passion for it. And the passion for me is the reason why I'm still in it. If I was doing it just because of the money, that doesn't mean I don't like the money. If you give me some word now, I'll take it. You know? I have to use the money because we need the money to buy equipment, pay your artists, do what you got to do to have the movie quality the way you like it. But it's not what's driving me. I'm driven by the passion for it, the ability to tell some stories that I think has to be told because Africans have a lot of stories that need to be told that are not being told. So we have to tell the stories, and if money is the drive alone, we would have left this business. You know. So, but to come back to the question about whether you can make money from this, yes, the answer is yes, you can make money. It's tough because pirates actually take a good chunk of the money that would come to the filmmakers. So it's difficult to make the returns. It's very hard, but I think we are coming to a point in the industry where the industry will begin to have some standard that will now begin to cause the returns to start flowing in. So right now it's tough, but I will say we don't have to give up. We just got to keep going. We still got to let the passion drive us because it's the passion that is driving. We are laying foundation for the future generation in this industry.
Okay.
That's what we are doing. We may not be the people to enjoy what we are trying to do right now.
But the future.
But the future, the younger ones, the younger generation are going to enjoy it. It's only a matter of time. Right now, we don't have a standard of distribution for African movies. And that's one of the reasons why we don't make money. You go, you spend your money, you finish doing the movie, you go to a marketer. The marketer is trying to give you 10-20% of the cost of the production.
Which means that's a loss.
So at first you say, no, I'm not going to take it. No way, I'm not going to take it. Then you look left, look right. You know, you go back and you take it. You know, and but there are people who have been persistent, found a lot of ways to make their money back. And every once in a while there is 1 or 2 or 3 movies that try to get the money back. So I would say people are not making money, but it's very tough.
Well, there's a notion that Nigerian filmmakers are doing their own thing. Everybody's doing their own thing, and everybody in their own small way are successful in their own small way. However, looking at the bigger picture, what do you think of the idea of joining forces with some of these, doing their own thing producers, so we can all paint a much bigger picture and actually merge Nollywood with Hollywood, or make it bigger?
Yes, of course, there are people who are doing their own things, but there are many of us are also very willing to collaborate and do something bigger. But it's not just about the collaboration. And if you have a good story, you can do a good story, and a good story will stand on its own, and it will succeed. In most cases, may even succeed more than that which a lot of people come together to do. Not because the small story is better, but because the storyline catches something about the audience that they love. So we don't have to just surrender to the fact that we cannot have a mega buster or a major production because we are not coming together. We can't surrender to that. The little things that we are doing, we can still make it. I'll give you an example. The movie called Sosi, which was done in South Africa, about a kid who grabs a baby, steals a car, and then finds out that there's a baby in the back, and then has to bring the baby back. And that was what the story was mainly about. That was the story that gave the guy from South Africa, the director, Blemkamp, if I'm not mistaken, gave him the breakthrough. It wasn't a big budget movie. He did it on his own.
But it became a big hit.
Yeah, somehow he was able to get some producers behind him to push it, and it was a big hit. And now he's doing it. So we can still make it, even if we are doing our little things. But that doesn't mean we should also not consider collaborating. Yeah. If the opportunity comes, we should do that, because you will also get more heads together and a lot of expertise together, resources together to be able to do something better. I gotta say though that the collaboration is not the main challenge. The challenge is the funding, because even when you collaborate, you still need money.
That's true.
You know.
Well, I mean, before you go, it's really been interesting. You've given me a lot of insight. I mean, I've gotten to know you better. Probably I'll be on the next cast. But anyway, you know, before you go, tell us a bit about your family. You're married, are you single, you have kids? You know, I'm getting a bit in your Kool-Aid, I know, but, you know.
Well, I'll try to keep my family away from the public eye. You know, some of us are... It's a business. The entertainment business is a business that always got to keep you out there. But when some of us, when we have the opportunity to always stay behind the scene, we like to grab that opportunity, and we don't jump at every opportunity to put ourselves out there. And because of that, we also try to keep things like family away from the public eye, and because of that, it's difficult for me to answer your question.
So you are pretty much avoiding that question. Okay, understandable. In a nutshell, the good you do represents who you are. And what you represent make you stand out in whatever that you do. So how would you describe yourself?
I am Nigerian.
You are Nigerian.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you here on this great program, Celebrity in Motion. We look forward to seeing bigger and better things coming out of you. I can tell. I just tested your legal skills, and I can tell that you have your P's and Q's together. Well, thank you so much for being on this program, and definitely we look forward to seeing you again.
It's my pleasure.
All right, God bless.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Welcome.
Thank you.
Until the next episode, thank you for being on Celebrity in Motion. Until then, be a good Nigerian, be a productive Nigerian, and be a proud Nigerian. See you next time.